Hey everybody, welcome back to AGA. Today we're talking about 7 of the 12 best board games to play on FaceTime or Skype. We actually wrote an article on this. It's #1 on Google. It has been since the beginning of COVID-19.
Perfect timing. We didn't release it.
It wasn't on purpose. It wasn't even on purpose. It just
Nope.
was one we wrote because we saw that it was something that potentially could do well, and then COVID-19 hit and it went, whoa!
Yeah, just skyrocketed.
And so it's been awesome for us, but we have waited for some reason to do it on AGA here, and so we want to do it today. We're not going to talk about all 12. We do have 12 on the article. You can check that out. We'll post it down below here, across right here.
Yep.
But we're going to talk about 7 of them at least, because if we did talk about all 12, it'd be a 45-minute video. So
it'd be a long one.
We're going to do 6 or 7 of them depending on how we're feeling here at the end of the video. And so let's talk about the first one, and it's one we've talked about a lot in the past. One that I hated at the beginning. And that's Boggle. I watched this. I actually said this in other videos. I used to go to my grandma's house and she had a kind of a game closet, and I'd see Boggle and be like, "What the freak, man? I don't want to play that one."
That would be
I want Chinese checkers, which is equally whatever. But but back in the day, we loved it. And so Boggle, for those of you that don't know, that have never played, it's kind of this little cage with dice in it, and the dice all have random letters, random letters on it, and then you shake it up. You kind of work them all into their little compartments. You take off the cage, and now you have a grid 4x4 of random letters. And everyone has a piece of paper and a pencil. You have 3 minutes to write as many words as you can see. And you can make any kind of variation of letters in any direction. You can even change directions throughout the thing. You just can't reuse a letter. You just can't reuse the letter again. And so you're just sitting there for 3 minutes. Everyone's writing as many as they can. And then at the end of 3 minutes, you compare. Somebody reads down their list. And if there's duplicates between people, you cross them off. And you only get points for
the unique ones.
Yeah. And so the reason that this is so good to play on FaceTime is because really all you have to do is have a camera that it can see it. If you have a camera that can be pointed at the Boggle thing, wherever anyone is, I guarantee they have paper of some sort and a pencil, and they can start writing their list, right?
Just write that list.
And then whoever is there present with the thing, with the actual game, will time it, or someone I guess anyone can time it. But and then after 3 minutes, you say stop. You do your same thing. Somebody reads off their thing. Everyone can. There's just nothing more complicated about being not present there, I guess, unless you're cheating off camera and writing extra words after time is stopped. Other than that, though, it's a really fun one, and it's obviously Boggle, right? Boggle's one that's been around for decades. People have played it. It's nothing new. But if you haven't thought about it, if you've never played Boggle, give it a try. If you have played Boggle and never really thought about it, this is definitely a good one for
very simple
for FaceTime / Skype. You just have to be able to angle the camera to be able to see it. Which is most of these games. Okay, let's get to the second one. Second one, now this one's more along the lines of like you can't be home for Christmas or can't be home for a holiday where everyone's getting together and there's a lot of people and it's this party, right? And you're like, I'm missing the party. I want to play a board game with you guys. And that is Wits and Wagers. Now, again, a very popular party game. Probably everybody knows it. But the reason that this one's really easy is because there's not much to the game. Somebody reads off a question that nobody knows the answer to. And everyone gives their guesses. Well, you can just wait till everyone's given their guesses. Then the person who's on the other side of the Skype call not present just says what their guess is. They write it down, and then you tell somebody acts as your hands, and you tell them, I want my chips here and here, right?
Very simple.
Not very hard.
Not hard at all.
I guess the hardest part that you would face is knowing how many chips you had at any given time. But again, if you angled the camera just the right way, they can show your chips. Like, I want this stack of chips here and this stack of chips there.
I only want three of this stack here. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's not hard.
Simple.
It's very, very simple. It's a simple game, which is why it's simple to play on FaceTime. And so, again, it's a fun one too. I love Wits and Wagers.
I love it
it's
too.
A betting game. You're for those of you that haven't played. Somebody reads off a random question, you answer it, they put them from smallest to biggest. It's always a number question. And then they put the guesses from smallest to biggest, and then people guess, they bet on which one they like the best and which one they think it actually is.
And then depending on if you won and the placement of the bet, of the word bet, you get more chips.
So you can, the odds get bigger as it moves out. It's 2-1 in the middle, the middle guess, and moves out on both sides from there. So
very simple.
Very fun game, well worth it. Okay, game number 3. Now this is a complete switch from the party game. We're going to now let's say you're gone for work or whatever, and you want to play a board game with your significant other, or just with whatever. Maybe you're gone on a trip for school or something, or maybe you're at school and you want to play with mom at home or something. And that's Mastermind. So Mastermind, again, all three of these games have been out for a little while.
Yeah.
But it's simple, right? It's a 2-player game. So you would just set the camera up in any given manner so that you could see the whole board. And then whoever's giving the clues, you can go either way. Whoever's giving the clues, the person just acts as the hands, right? And if you're the one that has the, well, let's explain how it works first.
We should probably do that.
So if you haven't played Mastermind, there's probably things you can go look up. But in essence, one player has a 4 color sequence that's hidden.
Any random colors that you want.
Yeah, there's like 6 or 7 colors that come with the game. So maybe you have a blue, little
red, white,
ton, blue, red, white, green.
Exactly.
And now the person guessing has to just guess random letters, and then you give them clues like, oh, you have the right colors, but not the right position. And then as they go, they guess, and they kind of use logic and reasoning to figure out how the assortment is and what colors they are. And so it's a really fun game for 2 players, and easy to play over Skype, because somebody can, if I'm the clue giver and I'm on and you're Skype, you're just guessing. So you tell me, oh, I want blue here, blah, 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 and then I tell you which ones are right. And if you flip it around and you're the clue giver, you don't have to actually put them in there. You can just write it down on your side.
Yeah. And
then you just tell them, oh, you're wrong here, put this one there, whatever.
Exactly.
So it's very simple. If you don't know how to play, you can learn how to play
simple.
Mastermind. This may not be the best explanation, but it's an easy game to play for 2 people, one on one side, one on the other, over Skype.
Yep.
Or FaceTime, I guess, is the more prevalent one these days.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to the next one. Codenames. Codenames is one that appears on a lot of our lists.
Yeah.
And that's honestly because it's Board Game of the Year, so obviously it's very popular across the board, and we like it a lot.
We do like it a lot.
And it happens to be a game that is played very easily on FaceTime. And so in essence what it is you have a bunch of little cards about this big. We'll roll stuff in so you can see it. And it's a grid of 5 cards long by 5 cards deep, so it's 25 cards. And on the cards are random words. I mean, just random words in the English dictionary.
Yep.
And you have to, the group is split into 2 teams. So if there's 10 people, 5 and 5, 2 people are assigned as the clue givers, and they're given a key. And some of those words out there, according to the key, are assigned to me and my team. Some are assigned to him and his team.
Yep.
And I have to figure out a way to connect those words. Yeah, and then some words are an assassin one that automatically loses the game if the team guesses it. Some are just nobodies.
Yeah.
And so they're just blank. But anyway, if I were giving clues, I'm going to look at it and say, okay, I'm trying to connect as many of these 8 or 9 words that are assigned to me as I can. What is a 1-word clue that I can connect 4 of them? And so you give it, then your team says, oh, I think he's trying to give us this clue, or I think he's trying to connect these 3 words. And they guess, and if they're right, you're getting closer to winning the game. And if they get it wrong, like let's say they choose the wrong word that was assigned to them.
To us. They just helped us out, so thank you very much.
And they're closer to the end of the game.
Yep,
so
exactly.
Anyway, very simple. Again, it follows the creed of AGA. That is very simple to play.
Hard to play well.
Difficult to play well. Yep. Because connecting words and guessing the clues isn't necessarily easy. So anyway, FaceTime-wise, that's a great game because, well, again, all you have to do is angle a camera at the board, or even just take a picture of the board, and then they can track it on their phone, by marking it off or whatever. There's lots of things you can do, and it's simple. You only have to pay attention on your turn, and you're with your whole team that is present there. Theoretically, half of your team is present or more, and you're the only one gone. You get to participate in a party game. And not be there, and so
which is really nice because, like you said, with Codenames you don't need to be present to understand to play the game. It's a very simple game, and so all you really need to do is be able to listen to what the clue is and how many words the clue giver is trying to connect the 1-word clue to, and then go from there.
So simple, so easy, and like I said, it's a party game. So this is usually probably for Christmas or whatever holiday you can't be there, where a lot of people are getting together playing a game, and you want to participate. This would be the one to play because then you just angle a camera, whatever, and you are a participant. Everyone can hear you. You can hear them. It's really, really fun. It's almost like
very simple.
Okay, so let's move on to so we're gonna move on to one that's a little bit more complicated to play. over FaceTime. Probably definitely the most difficult one to play over FaceTime on this one. But we wanted to include it anyway because we like this game a lot, and that is Azul.
And we also wanted to add it here because, yes, like he said, it's difficult, but it is doable, right? As is, I'm sure there's more than 12 fun games, and the 7 that we're going over right now. But so yes, it is difficult, but it's still very doable.
Yeah. So with Azul won Board Game of the Year, I think in 2018, somewhere around there anyway, and. What it is, it's like the stained glass of something or another, and it's really just an abstract game, which means there's no real theme that's integral to the game. It's more, hey, this is this strategic game that you're trying to accomplish this thing. You could take away the glass. It's supposed to be the stained glass. You're collecting these little tiles, which I love the little tiles.
Me too.
We'll roll that in so you can see it, but you're collecting these little tiles, and then you're trying to align them up on your board, and depending on the order that you align them up, and depending on what you do first or second, you get a certain number of points, and you can get points by getting all your tiles across on your wall, or all the way down, or getting all the same color, things like that. And so this one is a little bit more complicated. It's far more strategic than any of these.
Yeah.
But this would be for somebody who's not present, where maybe it's you and your significant other, or maybe there's a couple people somewhere and only one person's gone, and you want to play a strategic game that's really fun. This would be the one. And so,
absolutely,
in essence, there's this middle thing where everyone's pulling tiles from to get to their personal board, which we'll roll that stuff in so you can see and understand what we're talking about. And so the reason that this one's more difficult is because you have to angle the camera in a way that they can see both the personal board and the middle, which you can do as long as you angle it the right way and put the boards the right way, or the middle area the right way.
Yeah.
And you would have to just direct as the person away, right? The hardest part is directing them, hey, I want those 2 tiles, and grab those and put them here on my board. But it's really not that complicated because all the tiles are different colors. So you can say, hey, I want the two orange and red tiles on the left, and then they would just grab them and, hey, put them on my second row here, and you do it, right? And at the end of the round, you just have to have somebody act as your hands, and it would be more, it's more cumbersome for the person acting as your hands than some of these other games, but it's not impossible, and it's not extremely hard either.
Yeah, not at all.
And so we've done this before. It's really not that big of a deal. Anyway, it's a way for you to play a very strategic game while you're either away on a trip or while you're social distancing. You could actually obviously do any of these games in a Zoom call or something.
Yeah.
Where everyone, as long as you all had the game, obviously. But otherwise, one person would be doing a lot of work for a lot
of work. Yeah.
But anyway, so it's a really fun game. So let's move on to the next one. The next one is on the opposite end of this one.
Very opposite.
And that is Headbands. Now, Headbands is obviously one you'd play if you were away from your kids, or if you were calling your grandkids, or whatever it is, where you're not together. But in essence, with Headbands, it's very, very simple. Somebody would have a card that has some sort of object thing on it that you would put on your forehead, or just you wouldn't look at. Mm-hmm. And you have to ask questions about that thing until you figure out what it is, right? So if it was your grandkids and you were away, or your small kids, you'd put it on your head, and then they would not tell you what it is, and then you would ask questions. Well, is it this? Is it this? Is it is it? Am I big? Do I go outside? Right? Those types of things. They answer those questions, and then it's just kind of a fun game, little thing to play while you're away. Obviously, it's not complicated. This isn't when you're going to play with a significant other. No. Although I don't know, Dan. Maybe you and your significant other like to play it while you're gone. I don't know.
No.
It's pretty boring for anyone who would try to do that. But obviously,
unless of course you take the angle of Diversity Day, like in The Office, where Michael Scott's
Italiano, like
exactly,
Kevin.
Exactly.
Yes. So unless you did it that way, other than that, not the best game for you. Okay. The last one that we're going to mention, like I said, there's 12 total, but we're going to mention what do we have? 7 here.
Yeah, 7.
The last one is Tenzi. Now, again, this is another one of those that kind of works, kind of doesn't. This one only works if the person that's remote has dice, has a set of 10 dice, which, again, this is an easy thing to do. So if this is a type of game guys like to play, you just go pick up some dice at the store, the dollar store probably, and then you just make sure to have your dice remote. But anyway, so
this one is probably one of the most simple ones to do for sure.
Exactly right. So in Tenzi, right, you have a stack of cards and you flip it over and it tells you what type you have to get. Every single player has 10 dice that you're going to be rolling on the board to try to match whatever.
Yeah,
I mean,
so sometimes the card will have a design, right? So it's like 4 6s, and
you have to arrange it that way.
You have to
after
roll.
you've rolled it.
Yeah, you roll it. When you get what the design is, you have to match it all up, and then you say Tenzi.
Yep.
Or sometimes you're rolling the dice, and the card will say, bark or mimic your favorite animal while rolling
Every
the
time
dice.
you roll.
Yeah, so then you have to bark. Exactly. Apparently his is a chicken, so that says a lot.
It was the first one that came to mind.
That says a lot, but
My favorite. Yeah, it's not a chicken. No.
But yeah, so you have to just do whatever the card says while you're trying to, get a Tenzi, which is either design or whatever the card says.
Yeah, and so we like this game a lot because, again, it's one of those simple ones. Kids can play this one, and they love this one because they're rolling dice, and they feel like they're participating really well. And so, yeah, the original Tenzi game is really the first one to roll 10 of the same number. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't matter what number, 6s, or you can specify 6s.
I mean, sometimes you roll one, like you roll once, and there's 5 ones, so then you just pick up the 5 that aren't the ones, and you keep rolling until you get the ones.
You just keep rolling and rolling and rolling, and the first one to do it wins that round. And then there's obviously the cards that specify, hey, you have to get a Tenzi before you end this round. You have to get a Tenzi of 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, 6s. So you have to. It's a long marathon type thing.
Exactly.
And so, but it's fun as far as remote is concerned. You'd have to have dice, but you could definitely play this game over out of remote area because they would just say, hey, this is the Tenzi we're getting, and the first one to get it say so.
Yep.
And then. It's very simple, right?
Very simple.
Again, another one of these games. I don't know. This one's hard. Our creed here, right, is easy to play, hard to play well. I don't know if this is hard to play well. It's dice, right? So it's completely luck.
Yeah.
But it is a fun, simple game to play with kids or whatever. That's just no pressure.
Yeah.
Because there's something to be said about low pressure games that nobody really cares who wins. It's just more about the actual playing that's the fun part.
Yep.
And so this is one of those. Okay, so that's really it. Those are the 7. The 7 games we would say that are fun to play on FaceTime or Skype. There are obviously, as we mentioned, 12 of them, so go check it out. You can even just Google it if you'd prefer. 12 fun board games to play over FaceTime/Skype. We should be the top one, Go Geek Game Academy. If we aren't, we're one of the top 2. So other than that, guys, we hope that we've earned your subscription, as we always say. If not, at least a like or a comment down below of what you think are great games to play over FaceTime or Skype or whatever it is. I don't even know why we say Skype anymore.
Yeah.
Skype is like a dinosaur and dead, but we say it anyway. So
mostly FaceTime.
you're just going to have to deal with it. Anyway, guys, we love you. We will see you next time.